6 active payment plans, $310 a month, gone before I even looked at rent. And I genuinely had no idea because each one felt like nothing. That's what buy now, pay later does. It doesn't feel like debt. It's designed not to. And that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Let me show you how it works. Lena is 24. She has a budget, no credit card debt. She thinks of herself as someone who doesn't do debt. But last month, her budget had a gap she couldn't explain. So she sat down and mapped every payment plan she had running. Afterpay, $45 due on the 5th. Klarna, $60 due on the 12th. Zip, $50 due on the 20th. $155 a month, committed before she paid a single bill, spread across 3 different apps, 3 different due dates, so she never saw it as one number. She saw it as 3 small, manageable things, until the month her car needed repairs and there was nothing left to move around. Lena didn't have a spending problem. She had a visibility problem. And the apps she was using were specifically designed to make that visibility harder. Here's how they do it. Buy now, pay later. Afterpay, Klarna, Zip, Sezzle, whatever version is on your checkout screen, splits a purchase into installments, usually 4 payments over 6 weeks. Most of the time, if you pay on time, there's no interest. That's the pitch. 0 interest. Flexible payments. Here's what's not in the headline. Late fees are steep. Some providers now report missed payments to credit bureaus. So a $45 installment you forgot about can affect your credit score. And the real problem, the one that got Lena, is that BNPL doesn't show up in your budget the way a credit card does. It's fragmented. Multiple apps, multiple due dates. Each plan feels like a one-off decision, but they stack. And the stack is invisible until the month it isn't. This is not a character flaw. This is product design doing exactly what it was built to do. BNPL works because of something called payment decoupling. When you pay for something upfront, your brain registers the pain of spending at the same moment as the pleasure of getting the thing. They happen together. That friction is actually useful. It's your brain doing a cost-benefit check. When you split the payment, that friction disappears. You get the pleasure now. The pain is distributed into small future amounts that feel abstract. $45 4 times doesn't feel the same as $180 today, even though it is exactly the same thing. Add to that, most BNPL apps are beautifully designed. Smooth, fast, integrated directly into checkout. Instant approval, no hard credit check on most platforms. The barrier to entry is almost 0, and that's intentional. And then there's the stacking problem. Each plan feels like a one-off decision, but they accumulate in the background, invisible to your main budget, until the month where everything is due at once and you're suddenly short in a way you can't explain. This is not a character flaw. This is product design doing exactly what it was built to do. There are 3 specific ways. Buy now, pay later. Damages your financial health. Let's go through them. The first is cash flow fragmentation. Your budget works when your income and expenses are visible in one place. BNPL fragments your expenses across multiple platforms, multiple due dates, and multiple auto payments. You can have a technically accurate budget that completely misses $300 in monthly BNPL commitments because they never made it into the spreadsheet. Fragmented cash flow means you're always surprised. And surprise is where financial plans fall apart. The second is lifestyle inflation you don't notice. Because BNPL removes the upfront price pain, it lets you access things at a price point above what you normally spend. You wouldn't spend $180 on a jacket today, but $45? Sure. The result is a slow, invisible creep in your spending standard. One that doesn't feel like overspending because each individual decision felt reasonable. Over a year, this can represent thousands of dollars in purchases you genuinely could not have afforded up front. The third is the late fee spiral. Most BNPL providers market themselves as interest-free, and they are if you pay on time. But life happens. A tight month, a forgotten due date, a payment that bounces. Late fees hit fast. And as I mentioned, some providers now report to credit bureaus. A missed payment on what felt like a casual purchase can affect your credit score. Most users don't know that when they sign up. So, how do you use BNPL responsibly if you choose to use it at all? Four rules. Rule one active plan at a time. Make this your hard limit. One BNPL plan active at any given moment. When it's paid off, you can open another. This single rule eliminates the stacking problem entirely. Rule two, put every plan in your budget the day you open it, not when the payments start, the day you sign up. Add the full monthly commitment as a budget line item, labeled clearly. Afterpay, jacket, $45 times 4. Treat it exactly like any other fixed expense. Visibility is everything. Rule 3, only use it for things you were already going to buy. BNPL should be a payment method, not a justification. If you wouldn't have bought it at full price today, don't buy it on a plan. The plan doesn't make the purchase more affordable. It just moves the discomfort forward. Rule 4, set a total BNPL cap. Decide in advance what you will never exceed across all providers per month. Whatever your number is, write it down. Stick to it. When you hit the cap, you're done until something clears. These are not complicated rules, but they require you to treat BNPL like debt because it is debt. It's just debt that's been made to feel like something else. So what did Lena do? She didn't cancel everything overnight. She mapped it all out first. Every active plan, every due date, every remaining amount. She put it all in one place and saw the full number for the first time. $155 a month. That was the moment it clicked. She paid off the smallest plan first to free up cash flow. She closed 2 of the 3 accounts. She kept one, Afterpay, with a personal cap of $50 a month and a rule, one plan at a time, always in the budget. 6 months later, Lena's cash flow was predictable again. Not because she stopped shopping, because she stopped hiding the costs from herself. Buy now, pay later is not inherently bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, it does damage when you use it without understanding how it works. You are not irresponsible for using it, but you are responsible for knowing what it's actually costing you, not just per payment, but in total, and in what it's doing to your monthly cash flow. Comment trap below if this episode hit close to home. I want to know how many active plans you're running right now. No judgment, genuinely. And subscribe if you haven't, because next week we're talking about something even more uncomfortable than debt. We're talking about your friends and why keeping up with them might be quietly draining your account. I'll see you then.